What's up, traders? This is the weekly outlook video for August 17th. So the past couple weeks, I've been talking about price action picking up going into the fourth quarter. You know, summer trading's pretty much done. We got September, October, November, and then December. And of course, right before Christmas, it slows down, and then you have New Year's. So price action's definitely starting to pick up. This past week was super choppy. I'll get into that, but first let's dive into what the data looks like for the week. And not much for the US, but out of Canada we got some inflation data. We have a monetary policy announcement out of New Zealand. This is on Tuesday, and then Wednesday FOMC meeting minutes. So this is, people talk about, you have the FOMC policy announcements, which is like what's going on with New Zealand this upcoming week. Now that is different than meeting minutes. So meeting minutes, they just go over what was discussed previously. So a lot of times it's not that big of a market mover. Sometimes it is. You just honestly never know when it comes to this kind of thing. But so just something to keep in mind that is going on. And then Thursday, some stuff out of Eurozone. We got GBP. This is going to be in London session, so more inflation and unemployment. Some PMIs on Thursday, and then really nothing going on Friday. So there are some events here, but honestly, it's not like it's not a banger a week. We don't have for the U.S. inflation, FOMC, NFP. But definitely some things like the meeting minutes to be aware of, right? So let's take a look at charts here. So I'm looking at some cryptos and some stocks, and I'm on the daily chart. When I do this, I like to go into the 4-hour. All right, so right here, let's see, I have Telcoin up. Let's start out with, now this is Friday, and Bitcoin. I usually don't talk about Bitcoin much on this, but man, it is dumping right now, unfortunately. So just something to be aware of, because we hit some huge highs on Wednesday. I mean, 123, 124K, and we pulled back almost 10,000 from there. So that is a big, I don't know what percentage drop that is, but it's massive. So something to keep in mind there. And taking a look at some of the dollar pairs, this is what I really want to talk about, is the choppy price action. So I like to use the 200 SMA here in this envelope just as a gauge, so we can tell how well something is trending, right? So if you see this, you can see these small pullbacks to the 200, and very, very clean. And this is why I keep it on the chart. Now here, this is a decent example. This is the trend turning around a bit. But when we're all mixed up right here, it's this very choppy price action. And then if I fast forward to where we've been at for a while now, from this high to this low, really just max out. Now we're looking at gold. We can see this trend in a lot of ways across the board. Dollar yen, a little more trend worthy. Now I think out of all these, I'll go through some of the ones that I think are pretty choppy. AU, very, very much choppy. Now this is a pair that, when it's trending very, very nicely, it's really great play, right? So these are perfect little pullbacks here. Very, very solid price action, and looks really good. So, but when we're right in the middle of it here, a lot more difficult trading, right? So now we see something similar with Euro USD. A little more in line, but still pretty messy. GU, big pullback, and it's still, nonetheless, we are going through the middle of 200 in the envelope. This is my point here. So taking a look, last but not least, NZD-USD, looking like a potential downtrend and potential dollar strength. So this is something to keep in mind coming into the upcoming week. Dollar index right in kind of the middle here. So it's going to be interesting, potentially, the FOMC meeting minutes. If that changes things, again, you got to be aware of it. But here's these, I'm giving you some options. So US dollar CAD, if we do see some dollar strength, I think we're set up to make some big moves here, right? Because, you know, we've had our big push down, consolidation here, so accumulation, right? That's what that would be called. And then, you know, we're setting up, preparing to make some moves, potentially in a bullish direction for the dollar Canadian, right? So I think this is going to be a really good setup to look at. And, you know, other than that, things very, very choppy, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking for the upcoming week. We have some cool stuff going on, especially in regards to MetaTraders. So that's amazing. We're really happy about that. And let's have an amazing, amazing week, everybody. Peace.